welcome to a foundation review from me where, oh, the frustration was real. And by was, I mean, I guess we can keep it past tense. Let's keep things positive here, but there's a new foundation out from Maybelline. It is the Dream Urban Cover Full Coverage Foundation with an SPF of 50 in it. Great for summertime here, now that that's rolling in. It is online only, so, I mean, not that I usually go in and color match myself in the store, but that wasn't even an option. Well, I didn't think that was going to be a problem for me. I tend to be in the same kind of shade range for most drugstore foundations, be it Maybelline, CoverGirl, whatever. There's 16 different shades in this foundation line, and they have one that's called Buff Beige. Now, granted, it is about halfway through the color swatches, but it looks like online that's going to be my color, and I tend to be a buff beige type of a shade, or some kind of a beige type of a shade. You know, everything in front of that is porcelain and ivory, which I tend not to be. Well, so I ordered the buff beige. What is this? This is not buff beige. This is orange spray tan. That's what that is. I mean, it is so just not, it wasn't gonna happen. I was very saddened. But that's okay. I went ahead and I just ordered another one. This one I got in 110 porcelain. When am I ever porcelain? But apparently I'm gonna be porcelain now. This might be a little light, but hey, I can always mix in a little bit of this nice orangey tan shade in with it. They say that this is apparently the very first full coverage foundation that is specifically designed to protect our skin from environmental nasty stuff. It's going to be lightweight, it's going to protect us from pollutants, it's got an SPF of 50 in it, and it's going to have a natural looking finish. They are very clear that this is very flammable, so don't use it around fire. Wasn't planning on it, but thank you, Maybelline, for worrying about my safety. They also say that you should not swallow this. Again, I was not planning on it, but thank you, Maybelline, for having my back on that one, just in case. Otherwise, we can just apply this like a foundation with our fingers, a sponge, or a brush. So let's go ahead. Let's hop on over to my natural daylight setting. I am excited to test this out, I guess. I'm not super excited, just I'm scared about the colors here. I'm real scared about the colors. But we're gonna make this work in any case, and I am excited to be testing this out with you all. Alright, I think we are ready to put this foundation on my face, yeah, Fig? So here we are. Here is my skin at the moment. You know, beautiful abomination on my chin, and this is just what we are working with. If anything, like I always tell myself, this is a good thing for these foundation reviews, that my skin is not in the best state, because we get lots of different textures, so whatever textures you've got going on your face, you can compare them to mine. I really do think that this is gonna be way too light on me. I hate having to open up another foundation when I could have just donated this to a women's shelter or something, but I do think I need to mix in a little bit of darkness into this to get a better shade match for me. I am a little scared that that's just making that a little orange, but hey, we'll see. You never know until you try. So let's go ahead. Okay, it definitely smells like sunscreen, like heavy sunscreen. It smells like I am at the beach, and not only did I put on sunscreen at home, but I also am now reapplying it now that I'm at the beach. Like, it's potent for sure. I thought I mixed in enough darkness. Does this look like a good shade match for me? Maybe? Maybe? I guess I was just scared in case it oxidizes, since I got home traumatized from the last foundation that I tested out last week at how badly that oxidized on me. So now I'm just like, they're all gonna do it. They're all going to betray me. But yeah, it looks like that blended out nicely with a brush. It certainly didn't give full coverage on the first go around. It also doesn't look great in my nose pores, but I mean, hey, it did blend in everything. So yeah, mix up a little bit more. Right, now we will try it out on this side with a sponge. Let's see how this does. I do have to give it credit. I mean, this is really, really thin of a consistency, considering the amount of coverage that it's getting. It's not getting full coverage, like I said, but It is getting a light medium, I would say, coverage. And this is just with a very thin layer. Yeah, I'm sponge all the way with this one. So here it is with just the one layer on me. Like I said, I do want to see how this builds up because as of right now, it is certainly not full coverage, and this says full coverage. So I want to see if I can achieve that. Yeah, it's almost, I would say, the consistency of sunscreen too, which I guess would make sense. So, full coverage, this is not, I would say anyways, at least I couldn't get it to be full coverage, mainly on things like this bad boy or really darker pigmented areas of my face where I've got dark spots. That being said, it feels very lightweight. I almost feel like I have on a foundation right now. And I just think that it looks overall really radiant, dewy, and radiant. But yeah, overall, here we go. I am gonna go ahead, put on the rest of my makeup here and get on with my day. I will be checking in with you all at different points of the day so that we can see how this foundation is doing on my face without primer today. So yeah, we'll see y'all in just a second here. Ready? Ding! All right, my friends. End of the night here. I don't know why I didn't talk through my check-in earlier, but I didn't. But anyways, I did check in earlier when I was feeling a little bit oily, so here you can see how things were looking. I mean, it didn't look terribly oily or anything, but I was feeling a little oily, so went ahead, blotted. A bit of the foundation definitely came off on the blotting sheet while I did that. However, I still thought it looked pretty okay afterward, and now checking in here at about 9.5 hours of wear. I mostly have just been doing tons and 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 housework. So lots and lots of cleaning, and yeah, so I've certainly gotten sweaty multiple times today, and here we are. I'm looking super, super oily now at the end of the night here, and it is starting to look quite separated, mainly around my mouth where I feel like foundations tend to separate, you know, in my lines there. It has faded a bit on my blemish monstrosity, but I mean, whatever. Can only do so much for that thing, and this is transferring very, very badly. Even with the slightest touch of the finger, this just wipes right off. So I'm curious to test this out with primers. You know, it's feeling like a pretty average foundation so far as I can tell. I don't know. Does primer help a foundation to build up more? We'll see if I can get better coverage on these next couple of days. Hopefully it stays as lightweight feeling. I can give it that much credit. And yeah, I'm curious. Color me curious on this foundation. We shall see. I am not giving up hope yet. And I will see you all in just a second here to see if I could keep the hope alive over the next couple days. Ready? Ding! Hello everyone. Here I am. Oh, the trials and tribulations that I have gone through with this foundation. From the horrific problems with the shades in the beginning to now, there have been some things. So you saw day one, you saw all of that process. Now going into day two, I did things a little differently this time. So not only did I test out different primers, but I also, on day three, aka day hey-ho, tried a new method to the madness because I just wanted to. I had a feeling. But anyways, so on day two, I went ahead and I used my Smashbox primer like always, but I also went ahead and did the other half of my face with my Guerlain primer. So I doubled down on primers. I did both of my favorite primers on the same day. I just half and halved it. And I also went ahead and tried using a concealer with it since this didn't seem to build up well on its own. So I went ahead and I did that, and it went on the foundation once I got it mixed. Went on beautifully with a sponge, no problems there. I thought it looked just fine, you know? I actually really like the way that this foundation looks initially when I first apply it. I think it looks really smooth, really natural, just really nice overall, I think so. Like airbrushed in a natural way, like you can still see my pores, but the pores look blurred and not as, you know, apparent as when I'm not wearing the foundation. Then, as the day went on, I did a live check-in for you guys, so here you go, Cassie of the past, you can take it away. Hello, my friends. I just got out of the DMV. Brought all my correct documentation this time. I renewed my license. Yes! But I figured I should probably check in. It has been about, God, I can't believe it. It's been like 6 hours since I put this on. It doesn't look too bad. It's feeling a little, it's not feeling heavy. It's just feeling apparent on my face. I can definitely tell that I am wearing a foundation, and it feels like it would transfer off when I touch my face, and it looks like it does a little bit, but it doesn't look atrocious. It doesn't really look like it's separated too much except for underneath my glasses, but let's get to blotting. Oh, this is gonna feel so good. To those of you who don't have oily skin, you have no idea how fantastic it feels to blot after you've needed to blot. Oh, glorious. So much better. Oh, Minnesota summer humidity. Whee! I didn't show you a close-up of my face before I blotted, did I? I didn't. I hope you could see my skin, but here is my skin now. Looks good. It looks like it mattified. It looks like it's a little creasy between my brows, but overall really not too bad. I'm gonna go sit in traffic for a while and then go to my mom's for trashy TV night. I'll see y'all in just a second. And then here we are once again, end of the day on day 2. It was about 12.5 hours later. I was absolutely noticing throughout the day once I was getting super oily and everything that this was transferring like crazy. Definitely transfers with oils, this foundation. And I did notice that it wore off more on the Smashbox primer side, so maybe a more hydrating primer is not the way to go with this foundation. Who knows, maybe it's just that Smashbox primer, but either way, I honestly thought it looked pretty okay at the end of the day. Certainly had some problem areas and areas where it had just come off, like on my chin on the Smashbox side, but overall, you know, it looked like a foundation. It had felt like a foundation throughout the day, and I was basically just feeling okay about it at that point. I didn't feel like I loved it or that I was excited to try it again, but like I wasn't completely averse to trying it again type of a thing. The one thing that had me excited is that I thought, you know what? Stroke of genius possibly? So last week's weekly wear, the Pretty Vulgar Lava Water Foundation, really enjoyed that one, but it had its quirks, it had its problems, and it definitely needed a lightener because it oxidizes, and the shade that I got ended up being too dark for me. Well, I have this foundation that's too light for me. Let's try it. Let's combine them. I had a feeling that they were gonna do wonderfully together, so I went ahead and used my Guerlain primer, since that seems to be what works best both for that Pretty Vulgar foundation and for this Maybelline foundation. I also went ahead and used my favorite Too Faced concealer, just, you know, because I can't really build this one up, and the Pretty Vulgar one wasn't super buildable either, so I went ahead, put on concealer, and then I mixed the two foundations. Oh my god, you guys. I don't remember the last time I've put on a foundation and just thought, my skin looks beautiful. Like, I don't know what it is about these two mixed together, but I really thought it looked lovely on the skin. Just so natural and smooth, and that natural airbrushed kind of a look. I thought it looked gorgeous on my skin. I was really happy with the finish. Just really excited about the day in general to see how it wore. I did start to get oily and feel oily about 4.5 hours in today, so I went ahead and, you know, checked in with you guys, showed you how things were looking. I was not only feeling oily, but I was looking a bit shiny, and since I needed to film another video at that point, I had, you know, gotten home from grocery shopping and just getting a ton of errands run. So I figured, you know what, I should probably blot my face before I film, get me looking a little more fresh, and it did transfer onto the blotting papers. I was noticing that it was transferring onto my fingers as well, so that was no surprise to me. And after blotting, I thought it looked good. And now here we are, end of the night, about 11.5 hours later, I would say. Does it look perfect? No. But I've been sweaty today, and I've been oily today, and it doesn't look awful. It doesn't look the best, but it doesn't look awful, darn it. I think I got it to look okay. You know, I am certainly looking a bit shiny right now, but I don't think I'm looking atrocious or anything. Certainly not the oiliest I've ever looked in my life. I think that is due to the Pretty Vulgar foundation being mixed in here. So I bet that leaves you wondering or thinking, wow, Cassie liked this foundation. She would recommend it. Nope. Not if you have oily skin like me, I wouldn't. So let's go on over the pros and the cons here so that you can get a better idea of how I was feeling overall. For the pros, SPF of 50. That's great. Any extra SPF we can get in our lives, that's wonderful. Also, gorgeous finish to this foundation when you first put it on. It is, like I said, super skin-like and just lovely looking. Pore blurring. I really, really like the finish of it when first applied. And I think it blends really easily in terms of, you know, application. I thought that was really nice. However, that is where things come to an end in terms of the pros for me. Going on into the cons. First one, I have to say, it's not buildable. It's not full coverage. At least I could not get this to be full coverage. And when it says full coverage right on the front of the bottle, you gotta live up to that, and this one just doesn't, so I have to put that down as a con. It also ends up feeling heavy throughout the day if you are an oily person like myself. It just feels like it's sitting on top of the skin, and I feel like that kind of translates into it also transfers really badly. I mean, it certainly transferred a little bit before getting oily, but if you have oily skin, this transfers like absolute mad. It's kind of, it's a problem, at least if you ask me. Like, when you're scared to hug somebody because of your foundation, to me, that's a problem. And then also with the oily skin, I think anyways, oils cause it to break up. I'm, you know, seeing the breaking up around my mouth area and everything, and just, you know, on my nose and places where I get oily. So overall, if you have oily skin, I personally would say don't go near this foundation. Just don't. Do yourself a favor. However, I think if you have dry or normal skin, you might want to give it a try if you like a natural look. Not if you're looking for a full coverage foundation, but if you like a natural looking foundation and you want it to have a good SPF in it for the summer here, hey, by all means, I would recommend you try it out. It might work great for you, but otherwise, I don't know that I'm ever gonna use this again, but hey, I gave it a try. It's getting rave reviews, so what do I know? As always, I just hope it was helpful for you guys to see how this performed on my skin, how it looked, and then you can gauge from there whether or not you want to try the foundation out for yourself. Let me know in the comments down below if you have tried this foundation, how did it work for you, and what skin type do you have. Also, let me know what other foundations you want me to test here on my channel. I am always curious to know which ones you guys are most excited about. And I think that's about it. You can also let me know if you enjoyed the video or found it helpful by giving it a thumbs up down below. I would really appreciate it. And if you're new here, hey, hi, hello, how are you? You can go ahead and subscribe. You can tippity-tap that notification bell down below. Become a member of my casserole family here on my channel. I'd love to have you here. And as always, I just hope you guys are all doing well. Until next time, just stay well until then. Bye!